Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeanette, and in today's video I wanted to talk about how I've managed to maintain a 50-pound weight loss for the past 12 years. We need to start with a little history on how I got here in the first place. My dad and I started eating a much more wholesome diet 12 years ago. It was really just to help with my dad's health issues. He had very bad vascular disease and complications from that. So we thought that eating a more wholesome diet would be a good part of his treatment plan. I did not embark on this for my own gain. I really just wanted to help support my father through all of this. But what ended up happening is just by really making a shift in how we were eating, we each managed to lose 70 pounds. We had been eating a diet that was very high in highly refined, processed, and manufactured foods, very few fruits and vegetables, very few whole grains, etc. So we gradually started removing the processed, refined, and manufactured foods off of our plate and replacing them with more nutritious options like fruits and vegetables, whole grains, whole food starches, and the like, beans and all that. So that's really how I got to that place initially. So you had heard that right, I lost 70 pounds doing that. It took me about a year and a half. And I kept that off for several years until the pandemic started. And like so many of us, I gained a little bit of weight through the beginning of the pandemic because I'm a person that turns to food when I'm stressed out. And I gained about 20 to 25 pounds initially. I wasn't too upset about it. I didn't, and it still haven't made a whole lot of changes in order to try to lose that. Because it really hasn't upset me a whole lot, but that extra 20 pounds has kind of been hanging out in the back of my mind, and I've been focusing on that a lot. What I haven't done is given myself enough credit for keeping 50 pounds off for 12 years. And I recently took the Kripalu Approach to Healthy Eating course. It was an online course through Kripalu Yoga Center, and I learned some very interesting things in that. And at the end of the program, I was able to share some of my insights, things that I had learned, things that I was going to leave behind, and what was currently keeping me mindful and present. And what I said to the group was, I've lost 50 pounds 12 years ago. I don't like to say that I lost it because I don't want to find it again. I removed 50 pounds 12 years ago, and I've kept it off all this time. But as you see, I'm still here taking this course because it's constant work, it's constant engagement and commitment and dedication, and there's always something new to learn. The journey's not over with. This is going to go on for the rest of my life. And the moderator said, "Oh my gosh, do you realize that what you have done is extremely rare? Losing a large amount of weight and keeping it off for a length of time, that's a rare thing. A lot of people, from what I understand, they lose the weight and then a short time later they can put it all back on and then some." So she said, "We really need to congratulate you on that." And that started to make me think about this. All these years I've been thinking about the 20 pounds that I gained in COVID instead of the 50 pounds that I have kept off. So how did I do it? Well, I started to reflect a little bit on this because I've never given it a whole lot of thought. It's just kind of been my way of life. But if I had to break it down, obviously one of the biggest things was I had a change in diet. So the way I had been eating before all of this was, as I said, highly processed, refined, and manufactured foods were a big part of my diet. I wasn't eating a lot of fruits and vegetables. I was eating a lot of high-fat items and things like that. And when my dad and I started to eat more fruits and vegetables, more whole grains, more things like potatoes and rice and corn and squash and all those, whole food starchy type foods, beans, peas and lentils, tofu, avocados, olives, nuts and seeds. We started focusing more on those foods. We just naturally started to shed weight. So that was a very big part of this, was the dietary change. And I think if I had to simplify it, I went from a very high calorie density type of diet with very little fiber and lots of calories as a result to a lower calorie density diet that was rich in fiber and nutrients, and I was able to still eat a large volume of food without consuming as many calories. So that's why I always say if I had to sum it up, I'd say just eat real food, and minimize or eliminate the highly processed, refined, and manufactured foods. With that came changes in habits and behaviors with the foods that I was eating, because there was a transition period. As you can imagine, eating highly processed, refined, and manufactured foods, they taste really good. They're difficult often to stop eating. They're easy to overeat on. And then switching over to things like sweet potatoes and broccoli and homemade cheese sauce made with cashews or corn, you can imagine that the natural foods didn't excite my senses as much as the processed and manufactured foods did. So there was a bit of a transition period, getting used to the taste of these new foods I was trying. And then it didn't take really that much time at all. I really enjoy them now. I prefer the taste of natural foods over processed things. I can taste the heavy salt loads if I have something that is, packaged or manufactured. So it did take some time, but not much time. And the more I did it, it just resulted in habit and behavioral change. Another thing that I think has carried me this far, and I think this is very important, is I've had to develop a sense of mindfulness, self-awareness, gratitude, and kindness towards myself. When I first started eating a plant-based diet, I had this all or none mentality about it, that if I didn't do it 100%, that I was somehow a failure. And I have to say this too, being involved in the plant-based community back in the day, there are a lot of very supportive individuals there, without a doubt. And I think everybody really does mean well, but a lot of times things can come off as very judgmental. And I was part of that as well. I was initially wagging my finger at everybody, telling them, you have to eat this way, or, you're not going to be healthy. So I get it. I was there, but there were a lot of not supportive individuals, and it can be a very judgmental place. So I like to say that I defected from the plant-based community a long time ago, and just kind of march to the beat of my own drummer now. Once I got into a more supportive place, I was able to cultivate mindfulness, self-awareness, self-compassion, kindness, gratitude. This was very important for me because I had to learn to meet myself where I was at and understand that there are things that happen in life. There are events that I go to where foods might be available that I don't normally eat, but I don't want to be rude to the host, so I will sometimes have whatever they're offering me. This is an act of love from them, an act of kindness, and I try to see it like that. Or I go to a birthday party and I have a piece of birthday cake. I do allow myself on occasion to really take in the social aspect of being with other people and having food to celebrate. And there's just other events that happen in life. There's been stressors, and sometimes I just haven't been able to try to be perfect with my diet at that period in time. So there are things that happen in life that I had to kind of take in stride. And that's what I mean by meeting myself where I'm at and having kindness towards myself. This has gone a long way because I've now been able to make conscious decisions about what I want to eat. And I don't give in to every little whim that comes my way, or every offer that comes my way, or just have some of this pizza or have some of these cookies, just live a little. If I want to, I may engage in a little bit, to be social and all that, but I also know how to set boundaries and politely decline. So it's just been a much more conscious act on my part, deciding what I want to eat, how I want to move my body, when I need to rest, meeting my needs. And this all ties in with that meeting yourself where you're at. So this has been a really important part of it for me. Another thing that has gotten me this far, and this ties in with the whole self-awareness thing I just talked about, is this is work. It's work every single day. It takes dedication. It takes commitment. So while, yes, I have some flexibility in my life, I also know when to say no and set boundaries. And I'm very much aware of the decisions that I'm making as far as food and activity and all that. So it does take effort every single day. Just because I lost 50 pounds, it's been 12 years, doesn't mean that I'm done with all of this. It means that I have to keep putting in the work every single day to maintain this, because it would be very easy to go back to eating the way I used to 12 years ago and put all the weight back on. So it is definitely about making a conscious decision every day and putting in the work. There's always something new to learn. And I just don't ever see it as, you know, I'm done with this project. This is going to be a lifelong project. So those are the things that I can think of off the top of my head here that have helped me to maintain this weight loss as long as I have. It's really, if I had to sum it up, it has all boiled down to a lot of habit and behavioral changes, the way I think about myself and the choices that I make at this point. And it is work. It's not an easy task, especially in our environment that we're in now. It takes a lot of work to make healthy decisions for ourselves. So it's been a combination of things, but hopefully that list was helpful for some of you. And in this rest of the video, I'll go over this sweet potato chocolate pudding that I kind of created one day, and it is amazing. It's wholesome, it's delicious, and it only has 6 ingredients. It's on my blog, which is on my website. All the information's in the description box down below for you. I hope you guys enjoy. The first thing I do is roast some sweet potatoes. I've got yams, and these are Jersey whites, or also known as Hannah yams. The Hannah yams are really sweet. So I've got about a cup of the mashed sweet potatoes, a half a cup of plant milk, I'm using soy milk, 1 tablespoon of pure maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of sea salt, and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And for my friends who like to weigh things out, my sweet potatoes weigh just about 9 ounces or 254 grams. I used my Vitamix, and if you use a Vitamix, you get these 4 pillowy mounds. That means everything is nice and creamy and blended. And if you make nice cream, you actually get the same effect in your blender, but any blender will work if you don't have a high-powered blender. Look at how smooth and creamy that turned out. It's just like any pudding that I've made from a box at the store, only better. Tastes so delicious, and you can garnish it with anything you like. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys found this one helpful and enjoyable, and I'm definitely interested to hear your stories. If you've lost weight and have kept it off, I am interested to know how you've done that, and I think other people would be interested to hear that as well. Or just drop a line in the comments and say hello. We always like to read your comments. So thank you again for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. We'll see you guys in the next video.